Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Joe and Joe Weather Show, minus one Joe. I'm Joe Chaffee. Joe Rayo tonight is doing his virtual library presentation at the Port Jefferson Library here on Long Island. So I'm going to go solo tonight. Just had a little bit of some technical glitches to work through, so I apologize for the slightly delayed start. The Joe and Joe Weather Show brought to you by our friends at Omni True Value Hardware. They are they've been very busy with getting all the topsoil and mulch and everything else that everyone's getting to make their yards look great. But just want to give everybody a heads up that they're also your go-to place to get whatever you need to prepare yourself for the possibility if we get a tropical storm or a hurricane this coming hurricane season. They've got generators, they've got gas tanks, pumps, you name it. Everything you need to get through any kind of storm situation. 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, 631-756-1125. They've got the best prices in town, and the website is omnitruevalue.com. So it's been a really busy night in the land of severe weather. Uh, the action has been pretty furious over the last several hours or so, and we've got some severe weather to deal with here at the moment, which we're going to take a look at. I'm going to start off with, I want to go with the Storm Prediction Center's map of risk, because this usually, when you see the risk areas in the United States, they're almost always concentrated in one particular zone. But tonight we are seeing that it is indeed a little bit different. It is actually concentrated in two zones. And I'm just having, again, some technical glitches here, folks, so just bear with me. God, trying to get this thing to pop up here. Let's see if this will do it. There we go. Okay, finally. So there's your Storm Prediction Center's forecast. Two areas. I was a little surprised. I thought they might have put up an enhanced area in at least part of the Northeast, but they kind of expanded the area of slight risk earlier today, and they left it alone during the daytime. So we have that going on in the Northeast right now. We also have a large area of severe weather going on in the plains, and that includes an area of moderate risk across Kansas, northwest Kansas, southwest Nebraska. Very busy out there. We've got numerous tornado watches and severe thunderstorm watches that are up at the moment. Looking in the plains, we have 3 working tornado watches up as of 8:07 Eastern Time. And we also have in the east, we have 3 severe thunderstorm. Actually, now it's down almost to 2. The earlier severe thunderstorm watch expired at 8 o'clock. That was up for central Pennsylvania and upstate New York. We have a remaining severe thunderstorm watch for areas from the Hudson Valley down south into northern Virginia. And then there's a 3rd watch area that is up for much of southern and central New England. So indeed, very busy here. And we're going to go to Tornado HQ and take a look at the radar at the moment. And as this was a bit earlier when these thunderstorms were moving into western New Jersey. They were running down the Hudson Valley between Kingston and Poughkeepsie and Albany, and also extending northeastward up into New Hampshire. But at this time frame, a couple of hours ago, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 severe thunderstorm warnings in play, all at the same time. Now, of course, that has been reduced as these thunderstorms have, some of them anyway, the lead line seems to have either gone past peak intensity in some of these cells that you see down in New Jersey, and there's also a couple of cells There's a little extension of cells from the central coast of New Jersey, north of Atlantic City to just south of Sandy Hook, that extend out to the northeast. Looks like we also have a rather strong thunderstorm right now over western Long Island, not too far from me. It's gotten pretty windy here out my way, and now, of course, it's 8:08. It still should be uh, not not getting dark. It's pretty dark out, so I guess if I went out, I'd be able to take a good look at of this really strong cell. I can't really see it from my window because I have a north-facing window here. In the meantime, we still have a cluster of severe thunderstorm warnings up in northern Connecticut and some special marine warnings that are up for the coastal waters east and northeast of Boston. Now, there's some secondary thunderstorms that are out to the northwest in northeastern PA on up toward Binghamton and up further north into central New York. Another cluster back west of Harrisburg, another cluster that's sitting between Harrisburg and Philadelphia. And then we have 4 severe thunderstorm warnings working at the moment to the north and west of the Washington, D.C., Baltimore area. I did not see any tornado warnings during this afternoon and this evening. It looks like it's been pretty much all severe thunderstorm warnings that have been in play. And now, meanwhile, let's go out to the plains where it's even busier there with a number of severe thunderstorms across northwest Texas and a few tornado warnings that are up right now. This is, again, as of 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time. And we also have a scattering of severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings in parts of Kansas and back up into parts of Nebraska. Some of those heavy thunderstorms also extend out into western parts of South Dakota. So indeed, a very, very busy night. There are also some showers at the moment and maybe 1 or 2 thunderstorms in the mix from a couple of bands here, one moving through central Tennessee into northwestern Alabama, another one that extends from west of Birmingham to west of Montgomery. These cells are not particularly strong, and they are going to play themselves out before too long as they move to the east. But again, a real, very, very busy. No doubt about it. I'm just kind of scrolling through here. As of right now, there are 43 in total. There are 43 active severe weather warnings for Connecticut, D.C., Kansas, Massachusetts, Maryland, Nebraska, New Mexico, New York State, Oklahoma, Texas, Virginia, and Wyoming. So gives you an idea how busy these folks at SPC are tonight. By the way, this is from courtesy of tornadohq.com. If you're into severe weather, this is a nice site to have because you not only can get, you can't loop the radar, but you can get the still shot of the radar and zoom in on individual cells, but it also lists each tornado, severe thunderstorm, and special marine warning as they come out. So you can just scroll through any and all of them and get a good idea of what's going on and where it is all happening. In the meantime, take a look on the satellite and you see that big blow up, the bright white tops and the blow off. We saw that the atmosphere was going to be destabilized quite a bit in the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states today. All the keys to this were there this morning. The one thing that I was a little bit concerned about this morning was that there were some persistent low clouds that developed overnight over some of the coastal areas as well as some inland areas, but those clouds burned off pretty quickly. So once that happened, the temperatures were pretty much allowed to take off, and we saw highs from New York City westward and southwestward in the generally upper 80s and some lower 90s, and those upper 80s extended also north of New York City on up through the Hudson Valley. Where I am here on Long Island, it didn't. Where I am in central Long Island, it made it up close to 80 degrees this afternoon, and it was definitely warmer further west in northern Nassau and northwestern Suffolk County, just to give 2 examples. But there was also, because of the wind, the trajectory of the wind was more southwest than west-southwest, so there wasn't a complete marine influence, but there was a bit of a marine influence, or at least just enough to hold the temperatures down a bit and perhaps create a more stable atmosphere the further east that you went. In the meantime, take a look out in the plains. You're seeing, rather strong short wave that is swinging through here. A lot of moisture that's coming out from the Pacific and streaming up through West Texas and interacting with that short wave. And you're seeing all the blow-ups of thunderstorms that are going on there. And that system, of course, is moving to the east. And that's going to be the system, by the way, that we're going to be dealing with this coming Friday, and may hang around for the weekend or may not. I'm going to get into the weekend forecast in just a little bit. WPC, in terms of rainfall amounts, these thunderstorms are not producing a whole lot of rain. A lot of the areas right now in the northern mid-Atlantic on up into New England are quite dry, particularly some areas along the coast. Certainly where I'm sitting right now, it's been bone dry here for many, many days now. An inch and a half or more liquid is being indicated. Now, a good chunk of that is probably going to come later Friday into early Saturday. I don't know how much of it is going to come afterwards. In the meantime, you can see that the the heavy rains continue in the next week. A lot of this is going to be front-end loaded, but nonetheless, we're talking 3 to 5 inches or more of rain from much of the western part of Texas on up through Oklahoma and further north into Kansas and Nebraska. So you kind of see how this has changed from what we had last week, where we had the big ridge in the east and the deep trough out in the west and a deep upper low that was out offshore, and how it impacted the lack of rainfall in the eastern part of the United States. And now, of course, we're kind of in the other direction here, where we're seeing the rains concentrated back in the southern and central plains, but also starting to see seeing rains back into parts of the Northeast, certainly for southern New England, down into North Carolina. 7-day rainfall amounts of anywhere from 3/4 of an inch to 1.25 inches. So that is actually an improvement from what we had a little over a week ago when we were looking at all of this. So let's move on to the GFS. I want to show what the issue is with regards to the weekend going forward. We're going to take a look at the upper air and run through what's going on today. And of course, we do have a short wave. It's not a very well-defined short wave, but you can certainly see the kink here. There's a little kink there in the upper flow that's moving through the Northeast tonight. And this is helping, of course, to drive the convective activity that we've seen. And here we have this other stronger short wave in southeastern Montana, extending down into northern New Mexico, and that is the driver of the system of the thunderstorms tonight that are going on in the Plain States. Now that feature actually strengthens a bit for Thursday and into Friday, and starts to drop to the southeast. At the same time that you're seeing that happen, you've got another trough in the northern part of the jet stream. There's an upper low sitting well to the northeast, up somewhere close to Newfoundland. And there's a trough that's dropping down here. And here you have this system. Now, what ideally we would have liked in terms of trying to generate a nice weekend would be for the two systems, for the trough to be somewhat phased and to just kind of move along and go through. We'd get the rain Friday into early Saturday, and then the trough would go goodbye, and then weather conditions would find a way to improve as we move through the weekend for Sunday, and then set us up for a nice Monday. That was something that the European model was showing for many days. And the GFS was much more bearish on the outlook for the weekend, with hanging that trough back and keeping moisture along the East Coast. One of the more other keys to all of this is a system that's moving into the Pacific Northwest. That would have acted maybe as a kicker to sort of move everything along. What we've seen in the last 48 hours has been weather models just kind of flip-flopping back and forth in terms of how they handle this system here, the main player, because ultimately that is really going to be the determining factor as to what happens over the weekend. Does it hang back, or does it swing out to the coast and just move along? And you kind of look at this, at least going into Friday, And Friday night, it looks like it's going to at least initially try to just sort of move along, but the models continue to try to cut it off there, just along our longitude as we move through the weekend. You see it hanging here, upper low in upstate New York. Now, this particular setup is not it's not too bad if you're looking for the second half of the weekend to be better than the first half. This actually wouldn't be too bad as long as everything kind of moves along the way this latest model run does. They sort of weaken the features and move them eastward. So it gives us a chance that we could still see what my original plan was, which was to lose Saturday, have Sunday be kind of a transition day where weather conditions improved from north to south, and then have a nice Monday. This was on the 12Z run of the GFS. That's kind of where it was going. Then the new GFS came out and went back the other way again to an extent, where it does hang some of the precip along the coast on Sunday. But just taking a look here in terms of the presentation of the radar, you're seeing rain coming in for Friday afternoon into Saturday morning, and then there's leftover rain later Saturday night, and then it gets kind of patchy during the early morning hours on Sunday. Ultimately, the boundary of moisture is lying just offshore. Inland areas here are kind of dry. And then as we move into Sunday night and Monday, the frontal boundary slides a little bit further to the south and east. So I know a lot of you have, some of you have pointed out how a lot of forecasts have been just kind of going back and forth, back and forth. I'm going to stick with what I've been saying all along. And I may wind up having to wave a surrender flag here tomorrow, because I think by tomorrow we should be we should know how this is all going to play. But I will just tell you that I'm going to remain resolute in my feeling that ultimately that northern part of the jet stream is going to help to suppress this whole thing to the southeast, and that we should see. Again, if we're going to lose one day, it's probably going to be Saturday. Even though most of the rain will be done by Saturday morning, it's going to remain a very raw and gloomy day from eastern Pennsylvania to southern New England. And then maybe on Sunday, we could start to slowly from north to south. We'll probably be fighting clouds for a good portion of the day. But maybe we could see some drying trying to filter down from the north slowly but surely, and then getting more of that drier air in here for Monday. Regardless, it's going to be a cool weekend. There's no question of that. Our air is going to be coming Friday and Saturday, later Friday and Saturday from the northeast, from a cool high up to the north, and that's going to make for rather raw conditions here Friday night and on Saturday. I think many areas on Saturday may have a tough time getting out of the upper 50s or at best the low 60s. And then Sunday will be in the 60s, and then Monday, well, we may find our way back up into the 70s. In the meantime, as we just roll through this, I just want to at least talk about the weather going on in other areas. We're seeing these showers and thunderstorms tonight in the plains. They're going to be moving eastward, and you're seeing some heavy rains into the western lakes, and of course low pressure there developing in Illinois during the day tomorrow. Some showers and storms from Kentucky down into northern Mississippi and into Arkansas. And then again, as we move later in the day, you'll see more storms getting fired up on Friday evening in the Carolina Mountains down into northwest Georgia. And then that low moves on out. And as we look at the weekend, I mean, overall, most of the country is probably not going to be too bad. If you look at the GFS, it wants to generate maybe another round of severe weather in the plains for Sunday night into Monday, but the east is going to really depend on that the whole setup with the upper feature. I'll show you the European, and we are the European, which all along has been trying to show more suppression. To the last couple of runs of the European, you're seeing a more dynamic looking upper low here that moves southeast into Indiana and Ohio on Saturday, and still to our west Sunday morning and in eastern Pennsylvania on Monday morning. This setup, on the European now. Remember, this model all along has been totally against this idea. So now it's trying to show that you're going to have a vigorous somewhat vigorous upper feature sitting to our west on Sunday and a south-southwest flow aloft. This would generate another wave of low pressure to develop just off in North Carolina, and probably just kind of move its way northeastward up the coast and bring maybe another round of the soaking rain here later Sunday night into early Monday morning. I'm going to lean against it. I don't know why I'm being very stubborn about this, but I'm going to hold on to what I've been saying all along. Tomorrow at this time, I think the models will finally kind of lock in as to where this is going to, where this ultimately is going to go. I did notice, for example, on the Icon model, it kind of takes that upper low and sort of swings it down into Southern Virginia, North Carolina. It pulled it back a little bit further to the west, and although it never did bring the rain, it just kind of kept it just offshore. You see it here on the Icon. Here's your first low, and we could wind up, by the way, with a significant rainfall here for later Friday night to early Saturday, and just finally wash all this pollen that's in the air. And then the low moves out to the east, and then here's your second low that the Icon kind of has it down in North Carolina, and you see the isobars are pointed northeast offshore. They're going, hang on a second there, let me get the little tool right there. Your isobars are pointed sort of that way, so it's a flat wave that's offshore, brings rain to eastern Long Island on Memorial Day and also into southeastern New England, but for the most part areas to the west are on the quiet side. So I've said many times with respect to the springtime, trying to forecast this stuff is just a nightmare. It really is, because these features, everything slows down. The features become they're weaker, they're diffuse, and you wind up in a situation where any subtle changes really can make a huge difference in terms of the overall outcome of the weather over a series of days. So I'm still struggling with it, but I've been trying to be consistent. As we've been saying, Joe and I have been pointing out, the Memorial Day holiday weekend is, for one thing, it's a weekend that's technically technically it's not a summer weekend. It's still in spring, and the impact of still being in the spring season means that you're going to probably lose at least one of the 3 days to clouds and rain. And in fact, 2/3 of the time in the last 50 years, that has been the case. So this Memorial Day weekend, it will be no exception. That's just how it works. Tom Contino, I mean, if I had to guess about rainfall for Tom's River, I mean, that's all dependent on the thunderstorms, of course, that went through tonight. So I don't know how much fell there. And as far as Friday night into Saturday, I mean, you could very well wind up with at least an inch of rain out of the system for Friday night into early Saturday. William Hubert, thunderstorms are falling apart. That's what the ones when they approach Suffolk County anyway, when they come out of Nassau this time of year, unless you've got a perfect wind, something with a setup that is a west wind or a west-northwest or a northwest wind, you're going to lose it with the wind, that partial trajectory off the cool ocean, which is still in the mid-50s, makes a huge difference. And when you go to eastern Long Island, the eastern half of Long Island, where temperatures were up in the low and mid-70s for a good portion of the day, as opposed to areas to the west that were in the mid to upper 80s, you're going to see these thunderstorms just lay down and die as they move on to the east. Thank you, John Bojemski. That's a very kind thing to say. You have no idea what a valuable education you guys are providing with these programs. Even if you watch so-called dedicated weather stations on cable TV. They don't show the science as you do. The beauty of YouTube is that we can do whatever we want. This is my channel, so there are no restrictions here. We talk about everything and anything and everything, and I do appreciate the kind words. We just try to have fun at the same time. Make this a fun experience, and we come here most every night, because we do take a couple of days off during the week. But we come here to do our thing, which Joe and I have been doing. Each of us have been doing this for over 40 years, and have a good time and do it with the great audience that we have that come here on a regular basis. I don't know. I just also to point out, and as a reminder, I don't watch what other people. I don't watch newscasts. I don't watch other weathercasts. So it's kind of pointless to put on. I mean, you guys want to talk about it, that's fine. But I'm just saying, in terms of, you're not going to get commentary from me with regards to what other people are doing, mainly because I don't watch. I don't think it's a good idea for forecasters to watch other people's work before they've done their own. You don't want to be biased by what other people are saying. That only makes your job more difficult, because then you start to doubt your own instincts and you start to doubt your own skills. And I don't recommend it for any of you youngsters that might be watching and thinking this is a career for you. Remember, do your own work, and then after you've done your own work and made your forecast, if you want to go watch what other people are saying, that's fine. It's literally probably been a decade and a half. It's probably been a good 15 years, and that 15 years or more that I've actually sat down and watched someone else's weathercast. So, but that's me. So Joe is, as I said earlier, Joe Rayo is doing his library, virtual library presentation at the Port Jefferson Library, and so he's not going to be available tonight. And I wanted to get the live stream done early because I had a late night last night and I'm tired, so I kind of want to go to sleep and just relax a little bit. So Joe and I will be back tomorrow night tomorrow's Thursday. I think tomorrow's going to be another 8:30 show. So look for us then. I'll post it up as soon as I know. I will post up the show time. And Steve LaPointe, thank you very much for hitting Super Chat tonight. Most appreciated. Thank you. Gets Joe and I a couple of cups of coffee and maybe even a few Starbucks chocolate chip cookies with that. Thank you so much. And again, tomorrow night, I'm thinking it's going to be 8:30 Eastern time. So everybody, enjoy your evening and stay safe. I'm going to cut it short because I've gotten so used to Joe being here with me. Before we started working together again at FiOS, I was doing my YouTube channel. I've had my YouTube channel going since 2015. So I was basically doing solo shows. And then I asked Joe if he wanted to come on with me. And, well, we've been kind of doing it together ever since. So now when I'm alone, I find it very hard to carry the show by myself. I'm so used to having Joe to bounce off on that it's hard when he's not here. So I do miss him. And you see, he and I, we do have a lot of fun, and that's all that matters. Thanks, Dennis, and a few of you very kind to say, great show. Thank you very much, most appreciated. By the way, tomorrow, if you weren't here the other night, I did mention. Let me see if I can bring it back up on the screen here, since I have everybody's attention before we call an end to all of this. Just give me a moment. So, yeah, there it is. Okay, so if you weren't here the other night, there is a new book that is out. It's a mystery, and it is called Under the Weather, and it is written by Dr. John Avanzato. He and I went to high school together, and John was, and still, I believe he still practices in upstate New York, and he got the inkling of start to write mystery novels. So he did that. He created a character, Dr. John Cesare is his name, and he is a doc. His character is a doctor and solves crimes and solves murder mysteries. And this is John's 12th book. And I had helped him out with one of the prior books with some meteorology that was needed. And he was very thankful. And I said to him, well, he had said, is there anything I can do for you? I said, well, maybe you can make me a character in your next book. Well, lo and behold, I am a character in this book. I haven't read it. I ordered the paperback on Amazon, and I will be getting it. It's supposed to arrive tomorrow, so I will find out. But I am a central character in this book, and who knows? I could turn out to be the killer. So anyway, it's called Under the Weather by John Avanzato, and you can find it on Amazon, and it's in paperback, and it's available for Kindle. So I just wanted to give my buddy John another promo here regarding this, and maybe, who knows, maybe it'll wind up being a movie someday. So that's Under the Weather by John Avanzato. So I'm going to leave that up in the upper corner, and let me get my other sponsors up on the board too. Our show tonight brought to you by Omni True Value Hardware at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, and their number is boy, I'm kind of losing it here. Hang on one second. 631-756-1125. And our other sponsor is Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst, your complete holiday lighting specialist, meeting all your decorating needs. And their phone number is 631-957-5106. Omni's website is omnitruevalue.com, and Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini is liholidaylighting.com. So there you go. It's all done. So now I can say goodbye. Hang on. I'm having a rough time tonight because I'm by myself. I'm switching the show. My brain is having to work in like doing five different things at once, and it's just not used to it. Okay, great. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow. I think it's going to be at 8:30. Good night, everybody.